Welcome back to our lesson. And this time we're going to talk about Chapter 2, Basic Concept of Derivatives and Their Applications. And we have basic underlying principles behind the derivative of a function. We have intuitive notion, limit definitions, basic differentiation formulas, and applications, which involve optimization and related rates. And we have the prerequisite skills. So before mo engage aning nga topics, dapat kani nga skills na ana nato. Number one, simplifying rational, algebraic, and trigonometric expressions, as well as graphing basic algebraic and transcendental functions. This is very important. Next, knowledge on proving that involves manipulation of equation from one form to another. And the last one is a lot of patience and careful attention to details. Compared to chapter 1, mas lisod and chapter 2. That's why we have here presented the prerequisite skills. And as a student, you must a mastery on the algebra, how you're going to solve algebra and trigonometric and other basic mathematics concepts. So it needs a lot of patience and careful attention to ito yung pinaka-importante, details. So let's start with our first topic on our chapter 2 discussion. It talks about intuitive notion of the derivative. And to be specific, we're going to talk about the slope of a tangent line to a curve. We have the learning objective. Determine a specified form of an equation of the tangent line to a given curve. So we need to determine the specified form of an equation. It talks about the tangent line to a given curve. So what we need, we must have a knowledge about slope of a line, forms of the equation of a line, and algebraic simplification techniques. See? So those are prerequisite skills. And before we indulge to this new topic, we must have a prior knowledge on these three important concepts or lessons in math. So first, we need to define. First definition, definition 2.1.1, talks about limit definition of the slope of a tangent line to a given curve. Given a point, take note, we have point P. We have the points A, tapos f of A. On the graph of the function with equation y equals f of x. The slope of the tangent to the graph of f at point P is given by m equals limit of f times the quantity of A plus delta x, or the other terms here is the change in x. Common gamiton is delta x minus f of A all over delta x as delta x approaches 0 if this limit exists. So here, let us consider this figure 2.1.1. Note that the graph of the function y equals f of x passes through the points P. Ito yung point P. We have A, and then we have f of A. Passes through the point P and Q here. This is Q. We have A plus delta x and f times A plus delta x. So we have 2 points, point P and point Q. These are points of the second line. When you say secant line, a line that simply passes through two different points of a curve. So, mo na is secant. So, kung kadumdum pa ta sa circle, it passes through the circle. 2 points of the circle. So, the slope of the secant line, take note of the word slope. We can get the slope of the secant line by computed as m sub pq equals f times a plus delta x minus f of a all over delta x. That is the slope of the secant line. So what definition 2.1.1 points out, yung definition kanina, is that if we fix the point P such that, ito yung point P, if we fix the point P such that we allow only the point Q, ito yung point Q, to slide closer and closer to P, we will be able to get a secant line whose slope approximate the slope of the tangent line TL. Diba? Kung ato ning pasabot pa, kung kaning point P tapos point Q, kung imo ning i-move si point Q closer and closer and closer to point P, ang iyang slope sa secant line kaparihan na siya, approximate to the slope of this tangent line TL. I hope you get the point. As we learned in the previous chapter on limits, equality can be achieved by what? Limiting. This change or increment delta x. Thus, the slope of the tangent line, so kanina, this is slope of the secant line. So the slope of the tangent line will be m equals the limit of f times a plus delta x minus f of a all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. So if you are going to compare the slope of tangent line and the slope of the secant line, they are the same. Yan naman, matod palagi kung kaning point Q, imong i-move closer kang point P, it will approximately, yung slope niya is the same with the tangent line TL. Okay? So this formula of the slope of tangent line, this is what's stated here. Since topic na to is all about the slope of a tangent line to a given curve. So ito yung gagamitin natin. Remark, take note, a consequence of definition 2.1.1 is that the equation of the tangent line can be determined. Take note how we have the word equation of the tangent line. Here it talks only about the slope. So saan pagkuha sa equation of the tangent line can be determined using the point slope form of an equation of a line. So sa iyang forma, y minus f of a is equal to m times x minus a. Muna gamiton pagkuha sa equation of the tangent line. It is a must that you know how to transform, dapat kabalo taon saon pag-transform the previous equation to its slope-intercept or general form. So that is a basic skill that we must know in order to get the answer or the equation of the line. Example, consider the function y equals f of x equals x cubed plus 1. So this is the figure 2.1.2. This is y equals x cubed plus 1. Determine a general equation of the tangent line to the graph of f at point 1, 2. Okay? This is the point 1, 2. So we need to find or to determine the general equation of the tangent line. So how we're going to do that? First, we need to find the slope of the tangent line. To find the slope of the tangent line, before na to makuha ang general equation, first we need to find the slope of the tangent line. we need to use the formula stated here in the definition 2.1.1. M equals limit of f of a of f of a plus delta x minus f of a all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. So itong isuwat. So we have this one. M equals limit of a times a plus delta x minus f of a all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. So, mani atong gamiton para makuha ato ang slope. Since first, before ta makagamit ani, first we need to find the m. Talks about the slope. Then, pag makuha na tong slope, substitute na to ani to get the general equation. Okay? So, first, anong gagawin? So, we have the given, x cubed plus 1. Gagamitin natin ito. Tapos, yung point 1 and 2. Remember, sa P, point P, we have 1 and 2. This is our x and this is our y. So, yung A here, remember sa atong definition, asay nakabutang dire, we have this one, P, A, tapos A ang first, tapos f of A ang second. P, 1 and 2, this is our A, this is our f of A. Okay? Klaro? So, ito lang gigamit ang definition. So, equals, substitute na to ang value na A. Ang A na to is what? 1. Okay? So, limit f times 1 plus delta x minus f of 1 all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. So, from that, ato nang i-apply ang x cubed plus 1. So, ang first atong gibuhat, copy the formula of limits sa slope of a tangent and then identify from the point asa ang A at asa ang f of A. So, we need to use the A, which is here, that is 1. And then here, we are going to use the x cubed plus 1. So, we need to substitute the value of f of 1 plus delta x and f of 1 equals limit. So, remember how we have x cubed plus 1. So, our x here is 1 plus delta x. So, kung kadamdam bata sa f of a, i-substitute na to ang a sa asa man. Ang value na a ngadto sa equation. And here, ang atong a is 1 plus delta x. So, I hope hindi magtibog. So, we have 1 plus delta x. That is our x. So, siyempre may cube yan. Plus 1. Okay? And sa kabila naman, we have 1, diba? 1. F. So, ang x palihan na to og 1. All over delta x. Delta x approaches 0. Okay? So, the same as the concept of f of a. So, if your f of a na to is sample 2, so substitute na to ang x by 2. Here, ang atong a is 1 plus delta x, so manatong gibutang diha and here is 1, so manatong gibutang. Okay? I hope nga klaro na siya. Simplify. So, next is limit. Now, here, we can apply this special product or kung ganahan kang taas-taas ang solution, we can multiply 1 plus delta x times 1 plus delta x, then the result will be multiplied also to 1 plus delta x. Then the result or the product will be added to 1 and we get the final answer. Okay, so kung anong gamiton ang quantity of 1 plus delta x times the quantity of 1 plus delta x and quantity of 1 times quantity of 1 plus delta x, we can get this answer. So here we have the given the cube of 1 plus delta x. First is 1 plus delta x times 1 plus delta x. So we have 1, then plus delta x plus delta x plus the square of delta x. So here we have 1 plus 2 delta x plus the square of delta x. Okay? So, kana ang result, 1 plus 2 delta x plus the square of delta x multiplied to 1 plus delta x. That will be our third. Diba katulo man. So, equals, we have 1 times 1, 1. 1 times delta x, so delta x. So 2 times 1, the 2 delta x times 1, so plus 2 delta x plus 2 delta x times delta x, so 2 delta x squared. Then plus the square of delta x times 1, so delta x, the square of delta x, plus the square of delta x times delta x, so we have delta x, the cube of delta x. Okay, simplify 1 plus delta x plus 2 delta x, we have 3 delta x plus, okay, 2 square of delta x plus square of delta x, we have 3 square of delta x plus the cube of delta x. So, here, mo na to ibutang nga ray. Okay? So, unsa na? We got 1 plus 3 delta x plus 3 square of delta x plus the cube of delta x. Okay? And plus 1. And now here we have 1 cube, that is 1 plus 1. So we have 2 all over delta x. As delta x approaches 0. Okay. So simplify further, equals limit of 1 plus 1, that is 2. Right? So we have 2. 2 plus 3 delta x plus 3 times the square of delta x plus the cube of delta x minus 2 all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. Okay, next, we have 2 and negative 2. So that is 0. So remaining na lang is limit of 3 delta x plus 3 times the square of delta x plus the cube of delta x. And all over delta x approaches 0. Okay, next. So before finding the limit, you can divide this trinomial here by the monomial, and then we can get a better result, simplified. Okay. So basic skill ni siya sa algebra. Dividing polynomial by a monomial. So here, we can cancel delta x. We get limit of 3 plus, yan, matatanggal yung isa. So 3 times delta x plus here, ito. So here, yung dalawa, diba? X delta x cube over x cube. So, delta x squared na lang. Delta x approaches 0. Now, we can find the limit na. So, we know the limit of 3, that is a constant, is 3. And delta x here is 0, so 3 times 0 is 0, plus the square of delta x, which is 0, so 0. So, our slope is 3 with this given. Okay? So, ang sa atong gibuhat. So, ako lang i-review. First is to identify in the given. We have the equation x cubed plus 1. And then, determine the point P. R1 is our A, and 2 is our f of A. So, that is the same with our x and y. And atong gipangita is general equation of the tangent line. But before nato makuha na is we need to find first the m, or the slope. And we need to apply definition 2.1.1. And then, to find the slope, so, katulad pa ganina, ang mga skills na to sa algebra panggamiton. So, here, so these are some examples. Okay? And then, we arrive 3. That is our slope. Okay? So, is that the end? No. Okay, pangitaon pa man itong general equation of the tangent line. So, what is the equation? So, manigamitan. The slope form, the point slope form of an equation of a line, y minus f of a, y minus f of a equals m times x minus a. M times x minus a. So, hanggang buhaton lang ito is substitute. Okay, so y, what is our f of a? Here, our f of a is 2. So, 2 minus, what is our m? M na to is 3. X, what is our a? A na to is 1. Walay pa dayon dire dapita. So, we get y minus 2 equals 3x minus 3. So, applying now the properties of equation using the addition property of equality. So, we get, para ma-remove na to si 2 here, since we need to have the general equation. So, transform lang nato. Y equals 3x minus 3 plus 2. So, y equals 3x minus 1. Okay? Or, you can have 3x minus y minus 1 equals 0. Now we have the general equation of the tangent line. Again, find first the slope. So, magdepende na siya sa given. If given ang slope, the better. Then, proceed using the equation, the general form equation. Substitute lang nato ang value sa f of a, the slope, and the a. So, we have the next example. Find the slope-intercept form of the tangent line. Take note, slope-intercept form of the equation of the tangent line to the curve defined by here, g of x equals 2x minus 1 all over x plus 1 at the point where x equals 2. So again, we need to find first the slope. So sa ito formula, m equals limit of f of a plus delta x minus f of a all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. Okay? Sir, wala tayo p, but we have the given here. No? Compared to the first example, we have p. P, tapos may data a and f of a. But here, we have only x equals 2. So remember, x and y, ganina, that is Ang XZ, that is our A. So that is 2. Okay, so we have the value now for our A. Equals limit of F. A nato is 2 plus delta X minus F of 2 all over delta X as delta X approaches 0. So since our given here is g of X, instead of F, we are going to use g here also. So ayan. So magdepende na siya. Kung h dire, h pa diha. Nakita na nato, we have our g of 2 plus delta x and g of 2. Substitute lang nato sa atong given nga expression. So we get limit. So what is our x now? Here is 2 plus delta x. So 2 plus delta x minus 1 all over 2 plus delta x plus 1 minus g of 2 sad nato. So 2 times 2 minus 2 minus 1 all over 2 plus 1 all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. Simplify equals limit. So we get 4 plus 2 delta x minus 1 all over 3 plus delta x minus 2 times 2 is 4 minus 1, 3 over 3. 2 plus 1, 3 all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. Okay, next, simplify pa. Limit. So here we have 4 and we have minus 1. So we get 3 plus 2 delta x all over 3 plus delta x. 3 divided by 3, that is 1 all over delta x as delta x approaches 0 equals. So, diri find the LCD. That is 3 plus delta x. So, limit 3 plus delta x. So, we get 3 plus 2 delta x minus, times lang natin, di ba? 3 plus delta x all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. Okay, simplify further. Limit. We get 3 plus 2 delta x minus 3 minus delta x all over 3 plus delta x all over the side delta x as delta x approaches 0 equals. So we get 3 and negative 3, that is 0. So we got 2 delta x minus delta x. So, saan na remaining? Delta x over 3 plus delta x all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. So, applying the reciprocal multiplication, delta x over 3 plus delta x times 1 over delta x as delta x approaches 0. So, cancel na nato. So, ang remaining is limit of 1 over 3 plus delta x as delta x approaches 0. Substitute na. Find the limit. So, we get 1 over 3 plus 0 equals 1 over 3. So, that is the slope of this g of x, 2x minus 1 over x plus 1. So since our target is to find the slope-intercept form, so we have y minus f of a equals m times x minus a. Okay? So we have y And what is our f of a? So how we are going to get the f of a? So take note, instead of f of a, we have g of a rather. So to jive with g of x. So y minus g of a. Here, this is our g of a, which is, what's the answer here? That is 1. Equals, what is our m? 1 over 3 x. And what is our a? That is 2. Padayon, y minus 1 equals x minus 2 over 3. Cross multiply, so we have 3y minus 3 equals x minus 2. So we got 3y equals x minus 2 plus 3. We have 3y equals x plus 1. So divide both sides by 3. So we get y equals x plus 1 over 3. Where y equals 1/3 x plus 1/3. So this is our final answer to the slope-intercept form of the equation. Y equals 1/3 x plus 1/3. So it looks like complicated, but just find the basic way how to solve and follow the definition and the given steps. Okay, so now this is the graph of g of x equals 2x minus 1 over x plus 1. So this is our 2 and 1, our a and f of a. Third example, given the function h of x equals square root of x minus 2, determine the equation pa rin of the tangent line to the graph of h parallel to the line y equals x over 2 plus 5. So with regards to the previous two examples, this is different. So how we are going to solve this one? So in this example, wala tayo given point, diba? Compared to the last two previous examples. Wala tayo point of the graph of which passes through a tangent line. However, because of intrinsic property that this tangent line is parallel to the line y equals x over 2 plus 5, diba? We have the term parallel to the line. So, makadetermine na taron sa slope tungod ani nga term, parallel to the line. Recall that parallel lines have the same slope. So, manay clue. So, dapat na dyan tayo knowledge about algebra, terms about the lines. So, ang parallel lines, they have the same slope. So, what is the slope here? So, we got 1/2. Since we have y equals x over 2 plus 5, that is y equals mx plus b kasi yan, 1/2 x plus 5. So, Rm is 1/2. So, here, parallel lines have the same slope. So, mapod niya atong slope sa atong tangent line. Now, we using the slope, we can now determine the x-coordinate A of the point on the graph H where the line passes through. So, unsay buhaton, atong gamiton na pod ang definition 2.1.1. Yun nakalagay, m equals the limit of, diba, h of x yan. So, h of a plus delta x minus h of a over delta x as delta x approaches 0. Natin value sa atong m, which is 1/2. Okay? And then, we're going to use here the equation square root of x minus 2. So, limit. So, our ato ipuli sa x ani is carry. Square root of a plus delta x minus 2. minus h of a square root of a minus 2 all over delta x approaches 0. Okay, next, here we need to rationalize the numerator. So that is multiplied to what? Square root of a plus delta x minus 2 plus square root of a minus 2. Asad sa there sa denominator. And then multiply. The result will be, so if you're going to solve this one, the remaining is delta x. So here, multiply also delta x times a plus delta x minus 2 plus square root of a minus 2. Okay. Delta x approaches 0. Okay, so here we can cancel out delta x. So equals limit 1 over square root of a plus delta x minus 2 plus square root of a minus 2 as delta x approaches 0. Okay, here applying the limit. So atong limit is delta x is approaches 0, so equals 0. So equals 1 over square root of a, so delta x ato 0 minus 2 plus square root of a minus 2. So 1 over square root of a minus 2 plus square root of a minus 2. So pila na atong a minus 2? Square root of a minus 2, we have 2. So we get 2 square root of a minus 2. Since we have here 1/2, diba? We have 1/2 equals 1 over 2 square root of a minus 2. So cross multiply, we get 2 square root of a minus 2 equals 2. Right? All over 2. So we have square root of a minus 2 equals 1. Tapos square na nato para ma-remove na to ang square root. So the result now is a minus 2 equals 1. So our a is equal to 3. So nanatay value sa atong a. So the problem now is our h of a. So for example, our p, we have a and our h of a. So ito na lang yung kulang. So balik ta sa atong given, we have h of x equals square root of x minus 2. So our x now is, or ang a is 3. So we get square root of 3 minus 2. So the answer is square root of 1 equals 1. So with that, nanatay value sa atong a and h of a. So this is 3 and this is 1. So pwede na ito i-apply ang atong equation of the tangent line, which is y minus f of a equals m times x minus a. Then substitute. Our f of a is, rather h of a is 1 minus our slope is 1/2 times x minus a, which is 3. So simplify. We got 2y minus 2 equals x minus 3. So here we have 2y equals x minus 3 plus 2. So we get minus 1. Divide y equals x over 2 minus 1/2. So this is our equation of the tangent line. Remark, it is possible that the limit does not exist. So possible nga ang limit does not exist. Una, the limit itself is not defined. So undefined, automatic yan, DNE. DNE or does not exist, which means that the left hand limit at A is not equal to the right hand limit at A. Diba? Or the limit is infinity. So natatay duha nga ang limit is does not exist. Una, pag that is undefined, meaning ang left hand limit o right hand dili ka pareha, ug ay kaduha is the limit is infinity. The first case implies that there is no tangent line to the curve at a given point. Ito, ang first case. So wala siya tangent line ito sa curve at a given point. This usually happens to functions whose graph have sharp turning points or cups, such as kanang vertex is 0, 0, or the graph of the absolute value function y equals f of x equals the absolute value of x. On the other hand, when second, which is the limit is infinity, leads to a vertical tangent line, which given by the equation x is equal to a. So an example for function with a vertical tangent line at 0, 0 is the function f of x is equal to the cube root of f of x. So these are two cases that we need to consider about the does not exist. So example, consider finding the tangent line if any at the vertex of the graph of the function f of x equals the absolute value of x. So sharp ang iyang point, di ba? Matod pa diri. Sharp turning point. So this is case number 1. So applying the limit definitions of getting the slope of the tangent line at 0, 0. Here we have m equals limit absolute value of x. So we get absolute value of 0 plus x, delta x rather, minus 0 all over delta x. So applying the definition 2.1.1. As delta x approaches 0. So further equals limit. So sa mahibilin dire 0 plus delta x, we have absolute value of delta x minus 0 is the same all over delta x as our delta x approaches 0, right? So here sa may makita nato given the absolute value. So when we have the absolute value, sa mahitabo nato, remember that the absolute value of x that is equal to what? Positive x if x greater than or equal to 0, and negative x if x is less than 0. So those are the given condition. Now, how we are going to break this one means breaking the limit into left and right hand limits. So the right hand limits niya, so if you still remember, limit of delta x over delta x as delta x approaches 0 from the right, right, is equal to limit of delta x over delta x as delta x approaches 0 from the right. So which is equal to limit of delta x over delta x 1 as delta x approaches 0 from the right, which is equal to 1. Now, kung rin napunta sa left, limit of delta x over delta x as delta x approaches 0 from the left equals limit. Here we have negative delta x over delta x as delta x approaches 0 from the left. So here negative delta x over delta x is negative 1 as delta x approaches 0 from the left, which is equal to negative 1. So take note, our limit of delta x over delta x as delta x approaches 0 from the right is not equal to the limit of delta x over delta x as delta x approaches 0 from the left. So, big sabihin, the limit does not exist. So, there is no such tangent line to the graph of f at 0, 0. So, according to this figure. Applying the limit theorems in the previous chapter, you can get that. Next example, given the function defined by y equals cube root of x, determine the equation of the tangent line to the curve at the origin. So, equation of the tangent line. First, determine the slope at x equals 0. So, we have the hint. We have the point is origin. So, origin po natin is 0, 0. So, sa buhato na to, find the slope. So, we got m equals limit of f of a plus delta x minus f of a all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. Okay, next, applying ang kaniatong a plus delta x matoy ibutang nato ng x. So, we got limit of cube root of a plus delta x minus cube root of what is our f of a, tanglan to a na over delta x as delta x approaches 0. So, substitute natin itong a. So, we know ang vertex niya or ang origin, this is our a, diba? 0. So, we got limit of the cube root of a, which is 0, plus delta x minus cube root of 0 all over delta x as our delta x approaches 0. So, simplify. Cube root of delta x minus, I think 0 na yan, tapos delta x as our delta x approaches 0. Next, we need to multiply this to rationalize. We have the cube root of delta x squared. So we must master also the rationalization stated and the introduction part. Here we get limit. So sa mahibilinda, if you are going to perform a simplification that is equals to 1, we have the cube root of delta x squared as our delta x approaches 0. You're going to simplify this one. Substitute lang na to as our delta x equals 0. So that will become 1 over 0. And then, apply na to ang limit sa previous lesson. So this is equal to positive infinity. Okay? So if you still remember the positive infinity and the negative infinity. So man itong i-apply using the given conditions. So konektado gyapon siya sa chapter 1. So since our limit is infinity, the tangent line is vertical and the defining equation of the line is x equals 0 or it must be contained the origin. So ang atong limit is positive infinity or infinity. So tangent line is vertical diha sa x equals 0. But here also we can use an alternative. That is definition 2.1.2. This is alternative definition of the slope of a tangent line to a given curve. Given a point, so they are the same, P, A, and f of a on the graph of the function defined by y equals f of x. The slope of the line tangent to f at point P is given by m equals limit of f of x minus f of a all over x minus a as our x approaches a if this limit exists. So this alternative is quite different from the definition, the formula of our slope in definition 2.1.1. Now let's try this example number 6. Determine an equation of the tangent line to the parabola defined by f of x equals x squared minus 2x at the point 2, 0. Use the alternative definition. So, finding the slope, we have m equals limit f of x minus f of a all over x minus a as our x approaches a equals limit. So, our f of x is x squared minus 2x. May natong gamiton. And then, our point, we have point 2 and 0. This is our a. This is our f of a. Next, we have f of x. This is our f of x. So, we have x squared minus 2x minus what is our f of a? Is 0 minus 0. All over x. So, x minus what is our a? Our a is 2 as x approaches a equals limit. So, x squared minus 2x over x minus 2 as our x approaches a. Ang factor na to, x minus 2 or x minus 2 as our x approaches a. So, we can cancel this out. So, ang nahibilin is limit of x as our x approaches to a. And take note, our a here is 2. Diba? So, from here, dapat is this is as our x approaches to 2. Okay? So, what is now the limit? The answer is 2. That is our slope. So, applying the slope-intercept, y minus f of a equals m times x minus a. So, y minus what is our f of a? 0 equals m is 2, x our a is 2. So, get y equals 2x minus 4. So, that is our tangent line, equation of the tangent line. So, that is how we are going to use the alternative definition. Next, we have the last example, a line perpendicular to the tangent line. So, we must know what is perpendicular to the line, tangent line at a specified point on a given curve is called a normal line. Using this definition, obtain a general equation of the normal line to the parabola f of x equals x squared minus 2x at the point 2, 0. So, ang atong example 7 is connected with the example number 6. And our slope there is 2. So, since the normal line is perpendicular to the tangent line at point, at 2, 0, as stated here, anong gagawin next? So, its slope must be the negative reciprocal of the slope of the tangent line. So, take note ha, since perpendicular siya, so ang slope is the negative reciprocal of the slope of the tangent line. So, it is very important to be familiar with these theorems or guides. Okay, negative reciprocal. We need to find the slope of m, the normal line. So, that is the negative reciprocal of the slope of the tangent line. Ito yung slope ng tangent line. So, negative reciprocal is negative 1 over m. So, that is negative 1 over 2. So, muna ang slope sa normal line na ito. Apply na po ta sa y equals f of a equals m times x minus a. Substitute lang nato y minus. What is our f of a? Here, the same lang na point, diba? This is our a, this is our f of a. So that is 0 equals negative 1/2 x minus 2. Okay, so we have y equals negative 1/2 x minus 2. Cross multiply, so we get 2y equals negative x plus 2. So, ito ibalhin. So, we got x plus 2y minus 2 equals 0. So, this is our general equation of the normal line. Okay, take note pag general equation na equals 0 na si John. Dili siya kapareha sa slope-intercept. Okay? So that's all for our intuitive notion of the derivative, the slope of a tangent line to a curve. So dili na to kalimtan ang mga definition from 2.1.1 and 2.2.1. Okay? 2.1.2. So just practice, familiarize, and continue solving.